Anyway, last but not least, I do want to introduce one of my dear friends, actually, and colleagues. I got to know Rebecca Minkoff when she was a few months into motherhood, and I gave her some great advice. I told her that boys need to be treated like dogs, by which I meant that they need to be run every day. They need to be put on a track and just told go. And I know that she took that advice to heart, because the next time I saw her, she told me she'd invented this game, and this is such a New York story. She had figured out how to keep her 2-year-old's energy in check by letting him throw birdseed at pigeons, and then when they came towards him, he was allowed to chase them away. Can you imagine? I mean, such a New York story. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I've seen Rebecca take her role as mother, wife, and entrepreneur in her stride, and in a way that doesn't take any of it too seriously. She strives to give children a better world than she inherited, and she's doing that by doubling down on us, by doubling down on women. From the charitable activities of each one of her collections to her Superwoman podcast that highlights the highs and the very low lows of prominent women, or even to the Female Founder Collective, where she has united over 4,000 female-founded businesses to promote women-owned businesses to the consumer, and also unite these women to help them lead each other to the next level. Being a mom is at the heart of everything that Rebecca does, because at the heart of her foundation and her business, she starts from her heart. So I'm excited to give Rebecca Minkoff the Outstanding Mother of the Year Award. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanna, and for all the honorees, and for Save the Children. Thank you for all the work you're doing every day. So I must admit, when I had my son, I decided that Mother's Day was more important and more special to me than any birthday I had ever celebrated. And, you know, before having my son, I didn't really want to have children. I thought I'll have them at some point in the future. But there was no urge. The biological clock did not sort of start ticking for me. But as my parents were getting older, I decided, you know what? I want my children to have a relationship with these incredible humans that raised me, and I better escalate my path so that this can happen. It was a relationship I wanted to foster because I hadn't had that with my grandparents, who I had lost 2 of them before I was born and 1 really early on in childhood. And so I fast-tracked the whole getting pregnant, much to my husband's like, this is not romantic. And I said, we are on a clock, and it is ticking, and we gotta go. So we got pregnant after several months of trying, and instantly I thought to myself, what have I done? Why did I want this? And I would text him. He would be sitting right next to me, and I would text him because I didn't want the baby to hear me. I regret this decision. We shouldn't have had a baby. I'm miserable, I'm uncomfortable, I'm depressed, I'm fat. And he just said, you begged me to do this. So cut to the day. I was at home and went into labor. I decided to labor at home as long as I can, and then scream in a taxi up the West Side Highway. With other onlookers going like, what party was she at? Had my baby Nat Geo style, and when he came out, couldn't believe how much love I could have in that one moment. I call it the 4th dimension of entering, sensory overload, of just this visceral, soul-encompassing love that I had. And I thought to myself, why did I wait so damn long? What are we putting off if this is how much love we're capable of having for another human? So I decided from that moment on that, being a mom was going to be a role I took very seriously. And I had to change, going to work for 80-hour weeks to being the mother of my child and making sure he knew I was there for him. And that continued with The next 2 successive children, I successfully talked my husband into having with me. And, you know, I felt beyond lucky when my own mom came. Instead of having a traditional baby nurse, as some people have here, my mom said, I'll come up and I'll take care of you so that you can take care of your child. So she cooked for me, she cleaned, she loved me so I could be the most present mom for my baby. And that's the magic of being a mother. It's a role with no expiration date, where we have the power to give unconditional love to our children and support them in ways they will only be thankful for when they have their own. I sacrifice a lot to be a really present mother with my children, whether it's sleepless nights for nursing, pumping in every airplane, cab, closet, and I'm proud to say, boardroom. Earliest flights back, the list goes on, and you know from the mothers in this room what I'm talking about. But the one thing that makes it all worth it is that this is a relationship that only gets better with age, and the more time I put in, the more I get out of it. Children and the mothering them is the most important role that we have. They are our future, and the more we invest in our future, my hope is that a better world could be had. So thank you to the National Mother's Day Committee and Save the Children for making this honor my favorite honor I've ever received possible. Thank you.